So they're trying to make a new Flash movie. I have to be honest though, I don't really care much about DC outside of Batman. I just think that what's going on with the new Flash movie is crazy. First off, apparently they've been trying to make a Flash movie since the 80s, but I guess it never worked. They of course made a Flash TV show which was well received, directed by the same guy who directed both of the It movies, which I'm not a fan of. He's also directing a live-action Attack on Titan movie, which sounds terrible, as well as a Howling remake. But if it's anything like the It movies, it's not going to be any good. As for the plot of the new Flash movie, he has to travel back in time to save his mother from being killed, and basically that creates a multiverse. So I guess this is an origin story for the Flash, but its surrounding story is what's important here, as it seems like Warner Brothers are proving why no one wants to see companies do performative activism, as it's clear that that is what this is. They only care about money, and that's why they give movies to psychos like Ezra Miller from the Fantastic Beast movies, who allowed a baby to put a bullet in its mouth, and has also been caught on camera choking some woman and threw her to the ground. Definitely not the best press for a movie, and it's funny that they apologize for bringing negative attention to the movie, but didn't say anything about the crazy shit that they've been doing recently. And you might be wondering why they want to give a movie to someone like this. Well, apparently this is the best screen test they've had since The Dark Knight. In their words, executives and creatives believe that they have a critical and box office hit on their hands if it lives up to those scores. So they're weighing up their options, like, does another superhero movie like The Dark Knight outweigh child endangerment? Don't worry about the kids we're endangering, the movie is going to make us millions of dollars. So now the company has to see where the people's heads are at, because if Ezra Miller's behaviour is looked at with enough scrutiny, then they'll have to scrap the movie, which is a pussy move. Own it or don't. They literally have survey data to decide how Miller's past behaviour will affect the movie, and whether the data will improve. Like, what the fuck? Either disavow their behaviour, or admit that you don't care what people do in the products that you release. I wonder though who they're going to give a superhero movie to next. Even if this movie's great, they'll be looking for a new lead actor. I've also seen that people want Grant Gustin from the Flash TV show to replace Ezra Miller in the movie. It's weird why they didn't just do that to begin with. And with recent movies, and now this, it's a bad look for the DC Universe, because if they did scrap it, it's another movie that they don't have, but it seems like if they don't scrap it, then it's expected to release next year in June. And let's be honest, they've already decided that they're not going to scrap one of the only wins that DC has had outside of the Batman franchise. I mean, DC hasn't had a lot of success recently, with movies like Justice League not living up to the Avengers level that they expected. And the movie's had many delays already and hasn't been scrapped yet. They've definitely talked to him, as the movie doesn't release for almost a year, and you know that they don't want any more bad press for it. Since Warner Brothers and Discovery merged, they've been cancelling things left and right, including a streaming service which cost $300 million, and a couple of other movies like Wonder Twins and Scoob Holiday Hunt, whatever the fuck that is. So with that, and now this movie is reported to have cost $200 million. So as much as Iron Man 3, Spider-Man 2, and X-Men Days of Future Past. So of course they can't act like they're considering scrapping the movie, but I don't see them wasting even more money and risking pissing off more fans. Especially since they just scrapped the new Batgirl movie, which they're going to write off as a loss instead of releasing the movie. They say it's part of a financial shakeup. In other words, the movie fucking sucked. Apparently early screen tests were so bad they basically said fuck it and decided to scrap it. They even had a funeral screening for the movie. Maybe this should be a funeral for the character as well, because it doesn't seem to be working. The movie had already surpassed $100 million by this point, making it one of the most expensive cancelled movies, tying with Arnold Schwarzenegger's Crusade, which was supposed to release in 1993 and is the fourth most expensive, so this movie managed to make it in the top 5. Apparently the movie was shot for TV, so it doesn't have a cinematic feel. One person said that the movie plays like an expensive CW pilot. It's not a strong film, it's basically an hour and 40-minute CW pilot with a pretty good action set piece at the end. One interesting thing though is that Michael Keaton, who was supposed to be in the Batgirl movie, and the Flash movie was supposed to have Michael Keaton playing Batman in it as well, who I assume he meets in a different timeline. It's crazy that they brought him back, since he hasn't played the role in like 30 years. And if you're wondering, DC still has a bunch of titles that we don't know whether they're coming out or not, like Supergirl, Blue Beetle, and a Superman story by J.J. Abrams, as well as some that we do know, like Shazam and Black Adam. There's always been superhero comics, they've been around for over 100 years, and they've been making superhero movies for just as long, and they've continued ever since. So they've always been, and they're going to continue making them. But when are we going to move on to the next thing? The market is completely oversaturated with these superhero movies at the moment. Could we please just make something else? So anyway, what do you guys think? Do you think that they'll release the Flash movie no matter what? Do you think it'll be as good as The Dark Knight like some people are saying? How about you tell me in the comments, like and subscribe, share this video around.